This country is all about business, but business recently has been all about government policy. First as a lifeline into bailouts, then as a noose with too much government regulation. So will today's losses force those in charge to cut the red tape and get the country moving again? Joining us now is our most valuable panel. We have Toby Smith of NBT Equity, Lee Hawkins of the Wall Street Journal, Teddy Weisberg of Seaport Securities, and Tom Belesis, CEO of John Thomas Financial. Gentlemen, great to see you. Toby, of course, it's the president's birthday. Everybody knows that. I mean, if you read a newspaper or watch television, you know that. It's been all over the place. It's like everybody's father had his birthday. But he said something at his birthday party last night, which was also a fundraiser, that kind of scared me a little bit and may have spooked the markets as well. Let's play the tape and get your reaction.
But the thing that we all have to remember is that as much good as we've done, precisely because the challenges were so daunting, precisely because we were inheriting so many challenges, that we're not even halfway there yet.
Not even halfway there? I mean, if that doesn't scare the bejesus out of you, I don't know what will.
Yeah, it's the, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
You know,
triple that, quadruple that.
Yeah, you know, I think that what we've seen here now, and I mean, the silver lining to this is that clearly this agenda has failed. And clearly, I was just reading today about on college campuses, there's actually a growing, the biggest growing party are the conservatives for kids in college, because they're sort of looking at what the liberalism has got them, and it ain't got them much. So I have faith in the children, David. I have faith that the overreach is gone so far that the American people are going to push back.
I think you're right, but it's amazing, Tom, to me, that the president doesn't get it. He thinks it was a big success, everything that he's been doing, and he's going to double down on the bet.
Dave, you know what's funny? If he was in the private sector, he would have been fired from his position. And like Toby just said, I mean, this should be the greatest time for entrepreneurs in history. Labor is plentiful. Interest rates are at historic lows. Unfortunately,
and all these entrepreneurs have been waiting for a couple of years. They've been waiting for capital. They've been waiting for a more favorable economic climate. They've been waiting for a lot of things. So there's this repressed energy of all the new entrepreneurs just waiting to spring forward.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like in 2008 when no one had liquidity.
Right.
You have money markets growing at great levels now, big dollars here and overseas. And when all that pent-up demand for entrepreneurs is unleashed, we could enter a great bull market when he leaves office.
But, Lee, that's the key. When he leaves office, because he is not going to change his policies.
Well, I think that politicians across the political aisle can take some responsibility. Now, with Obama, it's the environment of hyper-taxation and hyper-regulation, and people talk about corporate profits being high, but that's because companies are afraid to spend money. Companies are afraid to go out and hire, and they're hoarding cash on their balance sheets as a result of that. So, yes, Obama not being friendly to the business community, that's a big part of the problem.
Teddy, do you have faith that the American people get it, even if the president doesn't?
Well, I sure hope the American people get it. I think more and more of the American people get it. And I think the world is sort of beginning to get it, too, especially after this debt ceiling issue that we just went through.
By the way, there are a lot of folks on Wall Street. Maybe folks don't realize it. I was shocked to find this out the more I got to know Wall Street, who are very liberal Democrats, and many of whom voted for Obama. You know a lot of these people. Are they changing their mind now?
I think so. I mean, most people, I mean, there are some that clearly have not, but the vast majority of those that I talked to have, in fact, changed their mind.
Toby, I saw you nodding yes.
Well, you know, they have, David, and I just had this conversation yesterday. I used to say that, you know, you're a liberal until you paid your first $100,000 check to taxes, and all of a sudden, you know, your life changes. But I'm seeing some guys that I would, you know, have always called dear liberal friends have finally said, wait a minute, this was not what I was looking for, and this idea that this ever-growing, you know, government thing now going into hyper-growth, I'm out of here.
And Tom, you know, you keep hearing a lot of talk from the administration about how, yeah, we're going to get soft on corporate tax. We may bring down the corporate tax rate, but it's just talk. You don't see any action by the administration on this. Can they be forced to take action on this?
I think they don't have it in their heart. I mean, whatever they said from the beginning, they have been wrong on. Look at the projections the president put forth with unemployment and with the economy. I mean, they said that unemployment wouldn't go above 8.7% even if they did nothing. They've been so wrong on everything they've done that you cannot believe anything they say going forward.
Lee, I have a confession to make, which is that I once, long ago and far away, believed in some of this stuff that they believe in, and I changed my mind as a result of being a journalist and going down to a place like Latin America where all these crazy ideas were tried and failed. I never thought they'd be tried here, but I changed my mind when I saw these policies fail when they were put in practice. We have seen these policies fail as they've been put in practice here. Why don't they get it?
You know, David, it's all about politics to some extent, because when you look at it, it's all about 2012, and the president knows that he's appealing to the elderly and he's appealing to people that work with entitlement programs, that are receiving entitlement. He's not looking at the business sector as a base of support, and so it's a politically pragmatic thing to do in his mind as a politician.
Oh, it's in his heart,
good
though.
Point. Good point. It is in his heart. I agree with Toby as well. Yeah. Toby, Lee, Teddy, Tom, we'll see you all in just a minute. Coming up on No one in America is keeping a closer eye on the markets overseas than business owners across the nation. They're really the ones who saw it all coming, and they're the ones who have to hire and fire and make things. Both of our next guests, all three of them actually, are business owners who are worried about both Wall Street and Main Street. We welcome back NBT Equity's Toby Smith, AMA CEO and Lucky Napkin founder Amelia Antonetti, and also Tom Belesis is still with us because, Tom, first of all, you have businesses. You just opened up a business in the Middle East, in Dubai.
That is correct.
There is this pent-up energy among small entrepreneurs who have an idea, have a project, have some concept for a small business, and they've been holding back. They don't want to stick their neck out in this environment. But once that energy is put to use, this economy has the potential of blowing up in a very positive direction.
Yeah, I agree, David. I mean, everyone likes to downplay our economy. Meanwhile, we are the engine of growth throughout the whole world. I mean, it all starts with the innovation that we have here. But people at this time are not confident. And again, the market works on confidence here and abroad. Right. You know, so if the markets are confident, evidently people start to invest in the markets. And they're not seeing that right now because of this administration.
Amelia, you work with these people all the time. You must know how much they are anxious to get into the marketplace but are afraid to because of this economic environment.
Oh, absolutely. And again, you got to remember the spirit of an entrepreneur is we will win at all costs. Okay, we are not going anywhere. We are going to win. We would like to get a lot of the noise coming out of the White House and a lot of people who talk about it, who've never employed anybody, out of our way so that we can win. We will eventually win. That is energy, if you want to say pent up, but we're also don't want to put good money after bad money.
Of course.
You know, so it's a matter of figuring out what are the rules, and as soon as we understand the rules, we will win.
So once this energy is released, if you will, as we're looking, by the way, at the situation overseas, Hang Seng is down about 4 1/3% right now, Toby. It doesn't look good overseas, but once this energy is released of the entrepreneurs that we're talking about, does it have the power to overwhelm the negativity we're seeing in the markets now?
Well, David, it absolutely does, and the math proves it. Unfortunately, I think the scariest thing we've seen in our economy is we've had the smallest amount of new company starts that we've ever had coming out of a recession into an expansion. That is a thing we've been pointing to for the last year and a half. Now, I'm not going to argue so much that, you know, when I started the business that I've started, I never worried about what the tax rate was because, frankly, I wasn't making any money for the first couple of years, so taxes was not a big issue.
With that.
Yeah, and the second thing is that most people I know who are entrepreneurs, and I'm sure everybody on your table is the same way, we're unemployable. We can't work for people. It doesn't work for us. So we're going to be doing these businesses by hook or by crook. We would absolutely like to have the government get out of the way, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to be working for anybody.
That seems to be what you were saying at the beginning, too.
Absolutely. But again, in this uncertain climate, what it is there's a longer start to start.
Yes.
So 2 years ago, you could get in and you could start. Right now, you've got so many obstacles. And again, even when you do, say, I need $25,000 to do a small capital raise, they go, great, what are your projections? How do you make a projections per employee? I don't know if I'm doing $2,300 per employee or $8,000 per employee. So it's hard to get money when you can't tell the correct story.
Well, forget the stock market. I tell you, if Amelia was a stock, I'd be investing half of my portfolio in her right now. All right, thank you, gang. Coming up on deck, one state.